There are 4.8 million Latinos living in Los Angeles County, making us the largest ethnic racial group. And Latinos are making a name for themselves everywhere, from Hollywood.
I don't think we demand what we actually represent and the power that we have.
To education.
It's so important Latinos know that Latinos have stood up and fought for integration.
And the voters box.
It's not so much that Latinos are not engaged in the process or not really interested, but more the fact that they're really not being sought after.
CBS News Los Angeles is celebrating cultura, diversity, and representation.
Latinos can look different. We can look from light to dark to brown, and you know, we're all experiencing the same struggle.
Salud to the beauty of Hispanic Heritage Month. Welcome to CBS News Los Angeles' Hispanic Heritage Special. I'm Juan Fernandez.
And I'm Marcy Gonzalez. As Hispanic Heritage Month comes to a close, we are so excited to celebrate the stories that our team has been bringing you all month long. I think I can speak for both of us when I say that highlighting Latin American stories is not only important, but it is just so special.
That's right. It's very special, and I'm really excited to be doing this with you.
Likewise. Yes. All right, well, up first, it is a story you may not have learned in school, but you probably should have. It's one that started with a Mexican-American family's pursuit of equality that shaped our community, state, and country's history.
Meet Sylvia Mendes, a woman at the forefront of the fight for desegregation in schools, and it all started right here in Southern California.
It was a dream that started with this little white schoolhouse in Westminster. The excitement for that first day of class there so palpable, Sylvia Mendes can still tap into it nearly 80 years later.
And we were so excited, you know. My mother had bought me all new clothes, you know, and braided my hair.
But when Sylvia and her brothers arrived to enroll in 1944, they were told their lighter-skinned cousins could attend, but since their complexion was darker, they could not. Sylvia's father, Gonzalo, and mother, Felicitas, hired a lawyer and brought several other families on board to fight the decision, putting every penny to their name into the class action lawsuit.
They finally came and said, Gonzalo, if you stop this nonsense, what is this lawyer? We'll let your children go to that school. We'll let them go to that white school. And my father said, I am not going to stop this. This is not just for my children. It's for all the children.
Finally, in 1947, a judge ruled in their favor. The decision in Mendes versus Westminster ended school segregation in Orange County and soon all of California, making it the first state in the country to desegregate schools, 7 years before Brown versus the Board of Education.
It was about equality. It was about fairness.
A lesson Sylvia has now dedicated her life to sharing, going into classrooms and inspiring books about her family's relentless efforts, one of which is now banned in at least 2 states.
It's so important Latinos know that Latinos have stood up and fought, and it wasn't only the Mendes, there's other Latinos that have fought for integration.
The story of her parents' bravery, tenacity, and wholehearted devotion to equality, bringing her from that white schoolhouse to the White House.
And her subsequent legal case, Mendes versus Westminster, effectively ended segregation as a matter of law in California.
A symbol of long overdue acknowledgement for actions that changed countless lives, starting with Sylvia's.
I would say thank you, Mama. Thank you, Father, for what you did. I know you suffered so much for what you did, but it was all worth it for our children, for all the children, not only for Latinos.
It was such an honor speaking to her and sharing her story. And Sylvia is pushing to have her case be part of required teaching at every school in California.
So happy for her. What a story.
Yeah, she is incredible. Yeah. All right, coming up, we do a spicy deep dive into the world of one of the most popular sauces on the planet.
And nearly 35 million Latinos will be eligible to vote in the upcoming election. But will they? We'll meet a group of local students doing their part to get them to the ballot box.
I used to believe in progress, matter what we do, we just end up back at the start.
The point isn't the end. The point is winning.
Yes! Do you ever worry we're gonna lose everything?
Oh.
We're coming to you from right over the hill from Hollywood, where dreams are made, legends are born.
This was Marilyn Monroe's booth?
That scene, everyone just got so quiet.
And I was like, oh, there it is.
You are watching The Lot.
The Lot.
The Lot.
The Lot. Did you hear what so-and-so said?
It's a better experience, and this lends itself to that.
Old school, new school, on the scene or the red carpet. If it's happening in entertainment, it's On the Lot. New episode streaming Fridays at 7, only on CBS News Los Angeles.
I'm your team leader. We all came in together. We're gonna live together.
Bravo will be deploying on a long-term op.
I'm in Syria. Who's there?
Who isn't?
Let's go. We got this.
Somebody messed up.
Command's under pressure. One team is going to get decommissioned. This could be our last op ever.
Know more with the CBS News app. Streaming CBS News Los Angeles and KCAL 9. Combined for more breaking news, more weather, and local stories. Wherever, whenever. Streaming on the CBS News app and Pluto TV.
This is Paramount Plus. This is Touch-Ups. Touchdown! And getting touchy.
Sexy, sexy.
This is blue paint. Yellow sponges. And red shirts. This is super suits. Super sass. And super dumb. They're like really dumb. This is a mountain of entertainment. Paramount Plus. Stream now.
It's only on 2.
It is getting progressively worse.
Do you have a quick second to speak with us?
We're grateful for the coverage, for shedding some light.
Only on CBS 2, an illegal grow operation.
4,700 marijuana plants.
Original reporting with real results.
You guys made that story, they started to react.
I thought he was going to take my girls.
I think we have the red Camaro stopped. Yes, sir. We take this stuff very serious.
For the news you won't see anywhere else, look for Only on CBS 2 News.
Welcome back, everybody. We're taking a closer look at the Latino vote and how, if prioritized, it could impact future elections. It's hard not to hear and feel the power in this crowd gathered at UC Riverside. They are students, teachers, and volunteers coming together for the Inland Empire Freedom Summer Project. Inspired in part by the Freedom Summer of 1964, a voter registration drive aimed at increasing the number of registered black voters in Mississippi. The focus this day, the Latino voter. Aaliyah Farias tells me she's been involved one way or another in her community of South LA since high school. One of her main interests was voter registration, and it wasn't always easy.
When I first started canvassing, knocking door to door, I would often get doors like slammed in my face because they would tell me, you guys only come knocking on my door when you want something.
What Aaliyah experienced is backed up by ongoing studies and focus groups targeting Latino voters.
It's not so much that Latinos are not engaged in the process or not really interested, but more the fact that they're really not being sought after.
Dorian Cal is Director of Civic Engagement with the National Association of Latino and Elected Officials, or NALEO. He says 55% of Latino respondents to a recent tracking poll say they have yet to be contacted by any party, campaign, or organization. And with the number of Latinos eligible to vote growing by the millions every year, that's a huge missed opportunity, which is why these UCLA students are working to change all that. But to make a change, you need action.
It's
one of the largest voting blocks, yet we have some of the lowest voter turnout, so our power is not showing.
Part of increasing voter turnout seems to have a simple solution.
One of the challenges, however, within the Latino community is really getting the information that they need to be able to adequately, register if that's, if they're eligible, right, or cast their ballot, and understanding how to cast that ballot.
Community leaders and students like the ones we met are working hard to educate the community on the power of one's vote.
I think that by voting for people who represent our interests, we can see that change that we want to see, that we don't see too often.
Well, the Latino voter worries about the same issues as anyone else: economic security, homelessness, the environment and climate change, as well as the well-being of their families and communities.
Chances are, if you like spicy food, you have probably stumbled across Tapatio, one of the most popular hot sauces in America. I know it's one of my favorites. But do you know the story behind the sauce? Chris Holmstrom has the story.
Tapatio hot sauce is an LA staple and has become an essential pantry item across the U.S.
So basically this is a shipping area where we receive product.
Luis Saavedra is the vice president of Tapatio Foods. His father, Luis Saavedra Sr., started the small business in Maywood, California, back in 1971. At the time, it was his side hustle.
My father would take a bottle to work, and all his coworkers would love it. And they said, "Oh, you got to bring us some more of this hot sauce." So when the plant closed down, they decided to open up the business, and he would go store to store and try to sell the hot sauce, which is really an uphill battle because nobody wanted another hot sauce on the shelf.
Tapatio became a local favorite. By 1985, the family business moved into a bigger warehouse in Vernon, California.
Once we started going across state lines, I received a letter from this nice woman in Nebraska that said, "Why does the man have a tire on his head?" So she wasn't familiar with the Hispanic culture. So then we had to advertise more in nationwide magazines, doing shows in different parts of the country so people could become more familiarized with the product.
In a matter of years, the company blew up, and by 1996 became a nationwide leader in the hot sauce industry. The company saw record sales. In 1997, the Tapatio label we've all come to know was released. But the company didn't just limit themselves to hot sauce. They now partner with several nationwide companies.
So now they're adding Tapatio to certain items, like for instance the ramen, the Doritos chips, popcorn, everything, Now we have an ice cream that came out with the Tapatio flavor.
Yes, even ice cream.
And get this, all the Tapatio you see in grocery stores or restaurants are processed in this processing center. And it starts out with a bottle like this.
In just 2 minutes, it's filled up, labeled, and ready for delivery. In fact, each day they produce 150 to 175,000 bottles of Tapatio. But back to the Tapatio man, what's his story?
It's just an artist rendition of a person representing Jalisco, Mexico, the central part of Mexico.
Well, it's my favorite too. That was Chris Holmstrom reporting, and now we as Latinos are avid moviegoers, right?
Oh, yeah.
But the number of Hispanics both in front and behind the camera continues to lag.
Suzanne Marquez brings us the story of some of those fighting to bring authentic Latino characters to our screens.
It has taken 17 years and many struggles for Ana de la Reguera to find her place in Hollywood. This after stepping away from a very successful acting career in Mexico.
I was being received well, but the problem at the beginning, which I came here 17 years ago, was the accent. They wanted to hear a Latina with no accent.
Ironically, it took her poking fun at her early audition struggles to land her dream job.
I was here already for like 4 or 5 years, and I hadn't booked a job in 4 years. And I was like, what the?
But instead of giving up, Reguera buckled down, went back to school, and created her own show, Ana. But she knows she is one of the talented but lucky few.
We need more opportunities, great roles for us. And it's good that we're fighting, like, hey, if there's so many Latinos, why you're casting someone else?
Reguera is right. In fact, only a little over 7% of the lead film roles and directing jobs in Hollywood go to Latinos, but they make up nearly 40% of the population of California.
Because of the fact that there are such few projects that get greenlit,
then there's so much pressure for those projects to really become, you know, such great hits and to become profitable. It's definitely a problem when Latinos are just disregarded and thought of as too risky.
One of the few projects that was greenlit was the Gordita Chronicles. Show creator Claudia Forestieri, along with executive producer Zoe Saldana and Eva Longoria, took this opportunity to give Latinos a seat at the table.
I wanted to have a mostly immigrant Latino room. 80% of our writers were either immigrants or children of immigrants, you know, and they tapped into their own experiences to help us, you know, create all the episodes.
For a country that calls itself land of the free, this place sure is expensive.
After debuting to strong reviews, it was canceled after just a month on the air. Many viewers took to Twitter to air their frustration. One person wrote, "This was a story that meant something to the Latin community. It was heartfelt, relatable, and they didn't even give it a chance before canceling it."
We had everything when this new corporate change happened. I think they don't have enough people of color in their leadership right now, enough executives that we're able to see the value in our show.
But Latino consumers also need to exert their power.
It's just like, be quiet, put your head down, and just work hard, and you're just lucky to be here. So I don't think we demand what we actually represent and the power that we have.
Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Yeah, representation just matters so much.
So important. And so many of those characters are so relatable to Latino families. It's so fun to watch, right?
Yes, for sure.
Fantastic. All right, coming up right after the break, an iconic LA landmark fighting to survive. But is anyone working to help merchants on Olvera Street?
I used to believe in progress. No matter what we do, we just end up back at the start.
The point isn't the end. The point is winning.
Yes! Did you ever worry we're gonna lose everything? Oh.
We're coming to you from right over the hill from Hollywood, where dreams are made, legends are born.
This was Marilyn Monroe's booth.
That scene, everyone just got so quiet.
And I was like, oh, there it is.
You are watching a lot.
The lot.
A lot.
The lot. Did you hear what so-and-so said?
It's a better experience, and this lends itself to that.
Old school, new school, on the scene or the red carpet. If it's happening in entertainment, it's On the Lot. New episode streaming Fridays at 7, only on CBS News Los Angeles.
I'm your team leader. We all came in together. We're gonna live together.
Bravo will be deploying on a long-term op.
I'm in Syria. Who's there?
Who isn't?
Let's go. We got this.
Somebody messed up.
Command's under pressure. One team is going to get decommissioned. This could be our last op ever.
Know more with the CBS News app. Streaming CBS News Los Angeles and KCAL 9. Combined for more breaking news, more weather, and local stories. Wherever, whenever. Streaming on the CBS News app and Pluto TV.
This is Paramount Plus. This is Touch-Ups. Touchdown! And getting touchy.
Sexy, sexy.
This is blue paint. Yellow sponges. And red shirts. This is super suits. Super sass. And super dumb. They're like really dumb. This is a mountain of entertainment. Paramount Plus. Stream now.
It's only on 2.
It is getting progressively worse.
Do you have a quick second to speak with us?
We're grateful for the coverage, for shedding some light.
Only on CBS 2, an illegal grow operation.
4,700 marijuana plants.
Original reporting with real results.
You guys made that story, they started to react.
I thought he was going to take my girls.
I think we have the registered marijuana stopped. Yes, sir. We take this stuff very serious.
For the news you won't see anywhere else, look for Only on CBS 2 News.
Hispanic Heritage Month is a way for us to honor the history and culture of Hispanic Americans. A historic landmark, once one of the most popular tourist destinations in Los Angeles, is now struggling to survive. Leslie Marin spoke with those in the fight to preserve Placita Olvera.
Nestled in the heart of downtown LA, a piece of Mexican culture and tradition comes alive. From the Talavera pottery to the leather trinkets and the ever-lingering smell of taquitos and tortillas made by hand. Known as the birthplace of Los Angeles, Olvera Street was established back in 1930, thanks to Christine Sterling. The oldest home in the city, Avila Adobe, still sits here, and most of the shops, or puestos as they call them, have been open for decades.
We opened in 1965.
Norma Garcia opened Casa California with her husband, who shined shoes on Olvera Street in its early years.
He was 7 years old.
Today it's her daughter Valerie who helps her run the shop. But a lot has changed in the last 5 decades, and especially since the pandemic.
COVID really killed business, of course, for everybody, not just us. But trying to get that back has been very difficult.
A mix of inflation, low tourism, and high rent has left the duo questioning how much longer they can keep their doors open. And unfortunately, Casa California isn't alone.
So this family here decided that they couldn't survive in the pandemic, and they shut this business down, plus another one, they sold candy.
Since the pandemic, Olvera Street has lost 4 merchants, and that count keeps going up. And it's just not the small shops that are struggling. La Luz del Dia was opened 63 years ago by Greg Berber's grandfather. Prior to the pandemic, they had more than 20 employees. Now they have half that.
It's been rough. Usually we could plan on how our year would go. We could tell when we were busy, but with COVID, inflation, and now this heat wave, it's very difficult to plan from one week to the next.
So what can be done? Merchants are turning to the city, which owns the property.
There needs to be more investment here on Olvera Street to make it the gem that the city says it is.
Arturo Chavez is the general manager who oversees El Pueblo, including Olvera Street, for the city. During the pandemic, he says the city waived 15 months worth of rent for the merchants.
And there's only so much the city and or even the department can do. There's a question of how much retail and how much you're doing for your own establishment.
But Chavez agrees rents, which are at market rate, are high. And he says sometimes merchants get caught up in the bureaucracy of the city. One thing the city and the merchants can agree on, the support of visitors is needed, now more than ever, to carry on the history, the culture, and the legacy of Olvera Street.
My family wants to continue carrying the torch that my grandfather lit. Then I want to make sure that they have the option to keep carrying it forward.
Leslie Marin, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And Juan, all this coverage of our culture has me wondering what it was like for you as a Latino growing up. Can you tell us a little bit more about being a Latino and growing up in Miami?
Well, let me tell you, Marcy, being Latino in Miami, at the time I was growing up, we were one of 2 Spanish-speaking families in the neighborhood. I never thought about it while I was a kid, of course, but we spoke and still only speak Spanish at home. When I speak to my mom and dad, there I am as a little kid. And then I would speak English, there are my parents, with my neighbors. I'd watch TV. Sesame Street in particular was where I learned how to speak English as a child. And by the time I did go to kindergarten, I could speak English to my teachers and my students, my co-students. My parents were also very bilingual and also very Cuban. And I love that about growing up in Miami. All the kids my age, of the families that, for example, went to church with us, were living in the same experience I was. So there was a huge sense of community, and I'm so glad that you had a chance to see my parents.
Yes.
My grandmother was in one of those shots.
You were so cute.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, Marcy, I have a question for you. What makes you a proud Latina, and what ways, how do you bring your heritage to your day-to-day?
Yeah, well, I'm so proud of where I come from. My father moved here from Uruguay when he was just a teenager, and he raised us to be really proud of our heritage and also to be proud to be American too. But he wanted us to be proud to be American just because of all of the opportunities that he was able to find in this country that he says he never would have had his family not moved here to the U.S. And I grew up with a bunch of big family parties, lots of dancing, eating tortas fritas, drinking mate, and speaking Spanglish.
Of course.
That's the difference between the families. It wasn't just it was a little English, a little Spanish, so we could speak with abuela. And it's important for me to pass on as much of the culture to my 2-year-old son as possible. My dad sings Uruguayan children's songs with him. We're working on his Spanish vocabulary, even though he's only 2, and we're really trying to get him to be a fan of Uruguay's soccer team.
Oh my goodness, he will definitely do it. And I have a similar situation too. My parents came from Cuba. They were very proud to be Americans, and they instilled that in both me and my sister. So we're both very proud Latin Americans, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for letting us share what makes us proud to be Latino, but we still have some more amazing stories to share with you.
Yeah, we do. Coming up, we will hear from some of the Afro-Latino trailblazers fighting for acceptance.
I used to believe in progress. No matter what we do, we just end up back at the start.
The point isn't the end. The point is winning.
Do you ever worry we're gonna lose everything? Oh.
We're coming to you from right over the hill from Hollywood, where dreams are made, legends are born.
This was Marilyn Monroe's booth.
That scene, everyone just got so quiet.
And I was like, oh, there it is.
You are watching a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
The lot. Did you hear what so-and-so said?
It's a better experience, and this lends itself to that.
Old school, new school, on the scene or the red carpet. If it's happening in entertainment, it's On the Lot. New episode streaming Fridays at 7, only on CBS News Los Angeles.
I'm your team leader. We all came in together. We're gonna live together.
Bravo will be deploying on a long-term op.
I'm in Syria. Who's there?
Who isn't?
Let's go. We got this.
Somebody messed up.
Command's under pressure. One team is going to get decommissioned. This could be our last op ever.
Know more with the CBS News app. Streaming CBS News Los Angeles and KCAL 9. Combined for more breaking news, more weather, and local stories. Wherever, whenever. Streaming on the CBS News app and Pluto TV.
This is Paramount Plus. This is Touch-Ups. Touchdown! And getting touchy.
Sexy, sexy.
This is Blue Paint. Yellow sponges. And red shirts. This is Super Suits. Super sass. And super dumb. They're like really dumb. This is a mountain of entertainment. Paramount Plus. Stream now.
It's only on 2.
It is getting progressively worse.
Do you have a quick second to speak with us?
We're grateful for the coverage, for shedding some light.
Only on CBS 2, an illegal grow operation.
4,700 marijuana plants.
Original reporting with real results.
You guys made that story, they started to react.
I thought he was going to take my girls.
I think we have the red Camaro stopped. Yes, sir. We take this stuff very serious.
For the news you won't see anywhere else, look for Only on CBS 2 News.
Racial diversity in the Latino community has always existed, but for some, it isn't as easy as just checking one box. More than 6 million people in the U.S. identify as Afro-Latino. Colorism has not only affected their lives, but has shaped how they approach the world. Leslie Marin brings us the stories of trailblazing Afro descendants who have ties to Latin America and the Caribbean.
When John Kennard opened the doors to Coffee Del Mundo in South LA, he wanted his business to represent what he represents.
Coffee is in English, Del Mundo is in Spanish, because it also was important to me to represent my culture. I'm Black and Latino.
Kennard's mother is from Belize. His father is Black. He is Afro-Latino, despite what others may first assume.
When people look at me, they assume I'm Black, especially in the Latino community. And so when people come into my business, they'll sometimes have their kids try to translate or their friend who's with them, and then I bust out speaking in Spanish to them. And then their face changes, their expressions change, and they feel such a greater sense of welcome.
But he says as a kid who grew up in Tennessee, despite immersing himself in both of his cultures, sometimes it isn't easy to simply fit in.
There's a lot of preconceived notions and assumptions about both groups, and so I've heard a lot of things from the Latino community and about the Black community. And I've heard a lot of things about the Black community, about the Latino community.
According to a study by the Pew Research Center, skin color is one of the top reasons some Latinos say they're discriminated on by other Latinos. In fact, about 41%, that's 4 in 10 Latinos with darker skin, say they've experienced discrimination or unfair treatment by other Latinos, while only 25% with light skin color say the same.
If you're trying to wear me down, you won't. I've been in combat.
Dominican actor Nelson Estevez has found success in Hollywood, standing alongside Taraji P. Henson in Acrimony and leading a role in Tyler Perry's hit series, The Oval. But it has been a struggle to land roles that portray his Afro-Latino roots.
I'm not Black enough, or I'm not Latino enough. And, you know, I've seen that throughout my journey.
Estevez, whose parents came to New York in the 1970s from the Dominican Republic, says he is seeing the change in Hollywood. And he thinks fans are too.
I received a private message from one of the fans just letting me know as an Afro-Latino how proud he was, you know. And then that's when things really clicked to a whole nother level. I just realized, you know, not to put pressure on myself, but the weight and who I represent, and to be one of the few that are consistently working in TV, it's mind-boggling.
Although there is a long way to go when it comes to representation of Afro-Latinos in the industry, and outside of it, both men say there is beauty in their background.
What I want people to understand is that Latinos can look different. We can look from light to dark to brown, and you know, we're all experiencing the same struggle.
I always say it's like a salad, you know, a nice heaping salad. You know, you get to enjoy. You don't just enjoy the leaves. You get to enjoy the dressing, you know, the toppings that you put on, the tomatoes. You know, what is a salad if you just only enjoy a certain part of it?
Leslie Marin, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And I love what they said. Latinos come in all shapes, sizes, and colors.
And at the heart of it all, we're about friends, family, and great food, right?
Oh, yes. All right. Thank you for watching CBS News Los Angeles' Hispanic Heritage Month special.
We hope you enjoyed learning more about all of the incredible individuals in SoCal's Latin community.
If you'd like to see even more stories on Hispanic Heritage Month, you can visit cbsla.com/Hispanic Heritage. Thank you so much for watching.